Well, girl. Look who it is. So I just want you guys to go ahead and, get into the fantasy. Get into the fantasy. We're giving you Call on Me, Janet Jackson featuring Nelly. You know the video, you know the song. The girls need a fan. I see why so many gay men have these and drag queens, because it really does do something for their confidence. When you just woo. I don't have any earrings on. But it's okay because I feel like this bracelet, all my earrings are on this bracelet. So basically, you guys, a little while ago, someone had left a comment on one of my videos, a gentleman, and basically asked if I would consider discussing the LGBTQ community in correlation with morals, certain values, and or the promiscuous lifestyle or the promiscuous stereotype that is associated with being queer. He is an older gentleman of color, if I'm not mistaken, and he basically wanted me to discuss, I guess, the disparity between the older generation and the younger generation and some of the practices or things that have come about and what I think about them and things like that. The things that I'm going to discuss in this video reflect a little bit of my experiences and also things that I've witnessed. So I say that to, dispel any kind of notion that I'm speaking for the entire community, because I'm not. I am just one person, and I've had my own individual experiences and the people that I've met, spoken to, things like that. So, with those precursors out the way, let's go ahead and get started.
Almost made you love me, almost made you cry, almost made you happy, babe. Didn't I? You almost had me thinking.
So this is the tea, okay? I am fully aware of the stereotype and the connotation that is associated with the LGBTQ community in terms of sexuality and promiscuity. That mindset generally comes from people who are far more conservative, usually very religious. And if you grew up in a religious setting, then you know what particular religious text, what it says in reference to the LGBTQ lifestyle, in reference to being gay. That information is there, that dogma is there, that mindset is there, and I'm aware of the fact that if you're viewing the community through that lens and you're looking at certain things, you can easily run with that. You can run with that idea, you can run with that argument that gays are promiscuous and things of this nature and things like that. If you want to look through that lens and you want to make that argument, you can find some things to help you make that argument. However, if you want to look beyond that and not generalize an entire group of people, you definitely can find reasons and points to do that as well. I think that people that are straight, gay, it doesn't matter. A lot of people now in the world are very sexual, very sex positive, very forward and confident, and to an extent it does exist, but we do kind of live in a world where anything goes. And whether or not you let anything go for your particular life is up to you, but in terms of everyone else, I think that as time goes on, certain things that were once considered so bad and no, you shouldn't do that, are phasing out. Those ideals are phasing out because you have new generations that are opening up their minds and I think exposing themselves to different things. The gentleman who left the comment on my video was speaking in direct reference to the younger gay generation and the hypersexuality that exists within the culture, okay? From someone's perspective who's let's say straight, conservative, super religious, and they're looking at gay culture and they're seeing these apps, they're seeing the adult entertainment industry, they're seeing Pride, and the first thing that they see on TV when they see Pride is a whole bunch of men running around in their underwear. And so if they're not looking for positive representation, they can easily take all of those examples and mush them together and say, oh, the gay lifestyle is so bad and so immoral and blah, 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 blah. The older generation was dealing with so many things where there really wasn't even, I think, time or resources to consider living your life in such an open and honest way. You think about the HIV and AIDS epidemic, and the height of it, I think, was in the 80s. And, I cannot imagine living during that time, but what I can say is because of how far we've advanced, medicinally, and because of how knowledge is spread now and the wealth of information that we have access to, I guess there isn't as much fear. There's not as much fear. So when it comes to dating and encounters and things among gay men, I think that some of it is very like forward and maybe out there because there's not as much fear there. The risk is still there, the danger is still there, but I think the chances of things happening that happened before have lessened. I also think that sometimes older generations tend to forget that they were young as well. And when you're young, everybody does things that are absolutely stupid. Absolutely crazy. Like, what are you doing? Let's say that the queer community is just super sexual, right? Super sexual, super inappropriate, super vulgar, whatever you want to call it. Let's say that, okay? If you think that, if that does exist within examples of queer culture that you've been a witness to, I encourage you to think about the fact that when we were growing up and when we were in primary school and secondary school, the lessons in class about the birds and the bees and the lessons in class about STDs and sex and love and everything were not necessarily impertinence to us. Those lessons in class were curated and designed for straight youth. And so when you have queer youth matriculating through school and not receiving the same kind of education or attention as straight students, meaning you have queer youth not sitting down with their teachers in health class and having discussions about the differences between consenting sex between people of straight experiences and consenting sex between people of LGBTQ experiences, and the rates of STDs, and like when those that we didn't a lot of gay youth did not get that. Okay, a lot of gay youth have not been in a position where they can have a conversation with someone like a parent who can explain that to them. Because of course parents explain to their straight children, this is how sex works, this is the risk of sex, this is the reality of sex. But that doesn't always happen with gay youth. And I definitely don't think it's because parents don't care. I mean, in some situations, obviously it's because parents do not care to have that conversation. But in other situations, it's because parents do not know how to have that conversation. Parents are not aware and educated on those matters because they're not gay. So, hear me out. You have this group of youth, right, who do not have the same wealth of knowledge to start off with about sex, dating, whatever, as straight youth. And so what do they have to do? What do they have to go off of? Well, I'll tell you what they have to go off of. They have to go and wing it. And they have to go and do trial and error. And they have to go and figure it out by trying this and discovering, oh, that's bad. That's not how that should work. Or, oh, that's dangerous, and that's not safe. And that's what a lot of gay youth have to turn to. And that's how they figure it out. I remember being in high school and sitting in health class and learning about sex education and stuff like that, and being like, okay, this is great, but this is not catered to me and to who I represent. And so how am I supposed to take this knowledge and apply it? Like, how is it supposed to help me? I was one of those kids that hopped on the internet and was watching YouTube videos and was looking at the CDC and reading because I was like, I need to know what's going on. But a lot of gay youth do not know that, okay? So I think that sometimes people are putting this label on gay culture as being so promiscuous and so overly sexual. But what if this is a result of all the experiences that could not be had while you were a kid because of the conservative school you went to, because of the fact that you were the only gay kid in the class and you didn't have a first kiss, you couldn't take someone to the school dance, you didn't have a first date when you were 16, okay? So here you are years later trying to catch up and then some on all those experiences that your straight peers had. And because you're trying to catch up and live those experiences now, it's being demonized and it's being sexualized and it's being judged. Now, I do think there are some risky practices that take place. I promote safe practices. I promote safe emotional practices. I promote safe sexual practices. Safe. Protect yourself at all costs. That's just my belief, okay? I do know that there are a lot of gay men who do have values, who do have certain morals that they stick to in their adult life. And just because they come out and are living this more visible lifestyle does not change the values that they have. I do know other people who grew up with those values and morals, but got to a point where they saw that those values and morals may have been a little bit contradictory with the people that instilled them in the first place, and the kind of lives that they were living. And then you have someone that's trying to figure out how they want to, what new values do they want to adopt, what new morals do they want to adopt, and through that process of figuring that out, they might make some decisions. They might go to the Pride Parade in a thong, covered in glitter. And it might be great for them. And so I urge us to stop judging, stop over-sexualizing, protect ourselves, okay, as a community. And for all of you who are not members of the queer community, but are allies of the community, support, okay? Support is great. And like I said, all those things I just listed are things that a lot of young youth that are LGBTQ are up against that you would never know, right? Because there's no one's talking about it, and you don't think about it. So I appreciate you guys so much. I say that every video, but I mean it. I mean it. Every time I check and see that the little subscriber thing is going up by a few numbers, I'm just like, wow, okay, keep going, right? Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, okay? Make sure you hit the subscribe button for me, please, and make sure you also hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time that we post new stuff on here. I also need you guys to follow me on Instagram at ToneClassic and check out my fashion lifestyle blog, www.toneclassic.org. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.